Well, that's
There
what
you
we
go.
do.
I'm ready.
Oh my god, oh my god,
We're
oh my
going.
god.
Can you hear the
Can you
music?
hear that?
Oh, we're
Can you hear the
going.
music?
Did you hear that?
Can you hear the music?
Yes, I can.
All right.
Yes,
Hey,
get
take it up a
pumped
stretch.
up.
This
Sometimes
is the
we
Boom
dance.
Real Estate Podcast. The podcast that shows
I have
you
on
how
all
to
white.
build
I can't stand up.
What is happening?
an amazing life.
It's just, it's a whole. I
a thing,
forgot.
all right.
Estate
It is.
Podcast.
I'll just let it happen.
Things are crazy.
Oh boy, away we go on the Boom
Todd's
Real Estate
dancing.
Podcast,
some
and
good
we
moves.
are feeling good vibes. We are
We
feeling
are.
good energy. We're feeling
Oh.
positive.
Oh,
Todd is
here we go.
dancing
Here-
all around the table. He's going
What is
past
that?
me right now. There he goes. It's like he's floating by. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll notice he's going all the way around the table.
Around the horn.
Oh boy.
Around the horn.
Which means we've got about 30
Go.
seconds
Yeah.
to kill because he's going pretty slow. Pick up the pace.
Come on, Todd.
Now he did. Now he did. All right, welcome to the big show, everybody.
So
I'm Terry.
great.
That's Todd. He made it all the way back around the horn. Megan is to my
Yay.
right, and producer Christian is across the table.
Hello.
What's up, everybody? How are we doing today?
How
How
so
now, brown cow?
Welcome aboard. We want to hear from you. Email info@boomrealestatepodcast.com and visit on YouTube so you can see all the shenanigans that go into the beginning of every show and
There are a
just
couple.
see what's going on. You notice Todd has the light box today. He's got the signage, which is nice, which I like
I
that.
think we needed to charge it. It's looking like it's
Is it-
starting to die a little
Is
bit.
it dimming?
Could be, yeah.
We left it on over lunch, and that was a mistake. Oh, well. That happens. And we also have the 30-day jump start for your business. We have it. It's ready. It's a PDF.
Yes.
It's free. It costs you $0.
No dollars.
But no refunds.
True.
I'll just say, we're not
ask
going to
for your money
refund you
back.
on the free download. It's at boom30.com.
Or
Yeah. Oh.
Uh-oh.
you send us a what's that? A self-addressed stamped envelope.
SASE back in the
Yes,
day.
yes.
Amazing.
Send us one of those,
Been a while.
and we'll just print out a PDF of it. And we'll mail it right back to you.
Yes. And those we actually will refund. If you're not happy, send it back to us.
Yep.
In an SASE.
For a full refund.
100%
send
of
your
money
refund.
back.
20% shipping and handling.
Yeah, we've got to cover the shipping and handling costs. But other than that, full refund. That's boom30.com. You can get that free download. Good luck with that. Okay,
Good luck with
gang.
that.
Okay, so we have with us Katie Clancy's in the house. And she's been in the house for a while because we had technical issues, as we often do. I want to pretend we don't have that happen all the time, Katie, but it really happens a lot. But that's okay. The nice thing is she's nice enough to just hang out and chat
Yep.
with us while we're getting everything together.
We're into the 7th hour.
Yes.
Hour
She's been
7
hanging
of
in
this,
there.
of this FaceTime
Oh, geez, see,
call.
we're losing her.
That's right. Okay, so Katie Clancy joining us
Partly my
today.
fault.
Okay, so she is the CEO. I'm going to intro it up. You ready?
Yeah.
The CEO of
do
Cape
this.
House Team
What?
in Cape Cod, Massachusetts.
Yes.
Her team, listen to this,
No.
is among the top 3% of producers on
What?
Cape Cod.
Get out.
3% of producers, which begs the question to you, listener, what percentage are you in Cape Cod?
Yep.
I bet you're not top 3.
Yep.
I bet you're not. I know I'm not. So that's huge. She's also been named a top 25 most socially savvy professional. Amazing.
I believe it.
National speaker.
Uh-oh.
Thought leader.
Uh-oh.
Katie
What?
Clancy, everybody!
Yes.
Oh, welcome to the big show, Katie.
Holy crap.
Yes. Thank you for coming and joining and being a part of the madness today.
Thanks for inviting me. I'm pretty happy to be here.
We are, that was fair. I'm pretty happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy.
Thanks for not saying
yeah.
sort of happy.
Jury's out.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a
how
hard
it goes.
7 on a 1 to 10 scale. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go to 7.
I'm definitely a 6-ish,
6.5.
7-ish. Okay.
Anyway,
Let's get into the hard. Let's get into the hard-hitting questions right out of the gate. Are you ready for this? We know you have an undergrad in zoology, which, as we all know, is the study of zoos.
Yep.
What, in your professional opinion, is the best zoo in the country? Go.
the National Zoo.
Fair enough. And that's based mostly on their food selection. Is that correct? Or is it animals? I mean, animals.
Mainly they're animals. I kind of like, I'm partial to anything that has a panda, and actually zoology isn't the study of zoos.
No, you're wrong about that. No, I think you're wrong about that. It's
We
the
just
study of
Googled it.
zoos.
Wait, hold on. Let's check that.
Googled
Fact
it.
check false.
Ology means study,
Study
and
of
zoo
zoos.
means zoo.
That's right.
Yes.
The study of zoos.
Where,
I'm just
where
kidding.
is the National Zoo?
Where is the National Zoo? DC?
You guys.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to give you some guesses.
Okay.
I'm going to say DC.
DC.
Yes.
No.
I've been there. I went there on a 7th grade field trip.
did?
Yeah.
Did you go to the zoo?
Yeah, I think so.
Really?
Maybe. I don't know.
That's fun.
You would think you wouldn't go to the
Yeah,
zoo,
like,
but
I'm
if
going
it's
to
the top
Washington,
zoo in the
D.C.
country,
Yeah.
yeah.
Some
I
would
said
say
so.
that
4 out of 5
Washington
zoologists.
D.C. Some would say that Washington D.C. is a zoo.
Oh,
Oh, kill me. Oh, scoff.
That was just scoff. Laugh. Okay.
4 out of 5 zoologists recommend the National Zoo.
really?
Yes.
One does anyway.
For the patients.
One does. That's
Nice.
right.
We've got one here.
Okay, so let's talk about animals for a
Yes.
second, and now we're going to get into it for real because so you had an Inman talk just recently in San Francisco talking about be a leader or be a lemming. That was the title, right? So it does relate to animals, so that's good. So that title alone makes us love you and everything that you're about, which is awesome. But fill us in for people that didn't see you or people that don't know, like what are you talking about when you say being a leader versus being a lemming?
Well, here's a little funny story. So right before my talk, I sat down in the audience to sort of see the guys before me, and I sat next to Sherry Chris at
Yeah.
Holmes Gardens,
Yeah.
Yeah.
icon, like amazing
Sure.
person, and I was like, oh my God, Sherry Chris, oh my God. So I get a picture of it, I completely dorked out, lost my mind, and she's like, sure, whatever. She was so nice. Took a picture. I put it on Instagram. She's
Yeah.
like, so what are you speaking about? I'm like, and like the next guy's going up. I'm like, how do I sum this up? I'm like, if you be less of a douchebag, you will make way more money.
That's right. That's
Sorry,
great.
Chris. I have to go.
All right, time to go now.
That was a rough start to it.
Yeah.
But it is sort of the subtext
That is
of
the
what I'm talking
the
about.
message.
Yeah. So around about 10 years ago, we had a major shift in Western civilization, not just in our industry or in technology. Things changed a lot. And we, as real estate agents, went from guardians of information to straight up service providers. And a lot of people still 10 years later have not made that leap. And so, but throughout our whole training, if anybody's been in the business longer than 10 years, and even really honestly, some people have been in less, we have been trained from a transactional perspective. We're speaking in terms of leads and funnels and pipelines and conversions and all that stuff. And we're not talking in a human vocabulary. And I noticed that when I took, I'm not going to name the course, but a lot of us took it. It's that 7-week, super expensive, like boot camp course where they hammer, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
And the guy's like, so why y'all here? Like, why'd you get into real estate? Who's here because they love people? And I'm like, oh. And he goes, wrong. You're here because you love money. And I was like, oh God, what have I done? I was in the middle of applying for my doctorate in zoology. Like I could have been important. And here I am. Here I am money grubbing, and I was kind of stressed out about that whole thing. But then over time I started to meet some people who are doing things differently, and I realized that I could go on my gut, which was to take care of people first, and maybe the money would follow. And it turns out it works.
Yeah.
It works. And actually now it's almost the only thing that works for long term. So when I say be a lemming or be a leader, lemmings actually, it's a myth. They do not commit mass suicide.
Okay.
But it's not too far from the truth. They actually are. They have this evolutionary mandate to consume. That is just sort of their population dynamics. Like elephants have something like that, but not quite. But lemmings, and they reproduce in massive numbers, and they have these huge amounts of them, not unlike real estate agents when the market is hot. We get this huge influx, and we are taught to consume. And the same thing, but we will, and what the lemmings do is they will consume and they will pursue that to their peril. They will expose themselves to predators. They will expose themselves to disease, competition for resources, and many of them die because of that.
Yeah.
But that's okay, because enough of them survive that they just do these wild population swings. And the thesis of my talk, besides don't be a douchebag, is stop. You've got to evolve. You've got to stop just following the dollars and stop that consumption mindset, because not only will it lead to your demise, particularly with the evolution of technology and whatnot, it's going to burn you out.
Yeah.
And it does burn us out. We have elevated levels of divorce, suicide, and substance abuse. Like, that's not good. It's true. Realtors, we are not a happy people.
Yeah.
And actually, people don't like us very much. So we're like ripe for the picking for all these tech companies and new models to come in and really minimize our role, compress our commission, blah, 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 blah. But that's a fear mindset that I don't want anybody who's listening right now to be coming from that perspective.
Yeah.
Because you cannot replace the face-to-face, belly-to-belly, compassionate service, like true service. All right, I'm going to get off my soapbox.
great.
No, it's good.
So good.
Do you have a question? Shut up unless you stop me.
No, I know. It's just no. It's nice to hear that perspective for sure, and I think it's like what you're doing is articulating a philosophy that I think we agree with and we try to
It's
pass on.
intuitive for so many people. Yeah.
Well, it's nice to hear you articulate it in that way, and man, is it ever true? Like, man,
Yeah, it's so good. And so I love the Lemmings. I think that's awesome, and I love the whole douchebag subtitle. I mean, really,
Which that's the
it really
reality
speaks
too,
to
right?
us. I mean, it's true. Sometimes you just got to cut to it.
Can we time out real quick?
yeah,
and
you bet.
reconnect
Oh
the
yeah,
video?
we're having like a bad connection here, Katie. So we're gonna
We've got audio,
pause
but
real
just
quick.
no video.
So
Okay, Megan.
All right,
here we are.
that is your real
We're
name.
talking about subtext. We're all up in
That is your real
lemons.
Enough of those silly questions that Terry's throwing at you.
We're over it.
Substance.
I know. Ugh. No, I'm super. We love what you're saying. Like Terry just said, we're totally into it. Same page. You're my best friend.
Oh.
And
You really escalate.
Wow.
Oh, she's excited
seriously.
about
Listen,
it.
I'm
She's
like-
happy about it, but I
do
think
like
that's
those
too
little
much.
necklaces. I
think
we're
it's
fine.
too much.
It's fine. We just
Too
know.
far.
We just know these things.
It's a girl thing, guys.
She's gonna send you a
just-
locket. She'll send you a
yes.
locket, and then you can.
And then we'll just keep.
The best friend necklace.
Yeah,
Elevating,
you can do that.
yes.
She'll send you half of a
Yep.
necklace. It'll be
Yep.
amazing.
You
It's
guys-
gonna be great.
It's gonna be so
But-
great in 6 years when Facebook reminds you that you've been Facebook friends for 6 years, and they're like, you get those things now that you're like, oh look, I've known you for 38 years, but Facebook
But
says.
Facebook says we've been. Yeah, that's right.
We've just been friends. But okay, so I want to dive a little bit real quick into the leadership side of things. So don't be this. So what should we be? You know, what are some good things you want to throw out there that we could do as a as a society of realtors?
Okay, so for starters, you've got to. I'm going to give you 3 concrete takeaways.
Okay.
But before that, I'm going to just talk about sort of it's a mindset. This is a mindset. This is not a tactical shift that we're
Yeah.
making. You've just got to look at things differently. And I think the best example of this is Vaynerbots. Okay.
What?
Vaynerbots?
Vaynerbots. You don't know what I'm talking
Oh my
about?
gosh, I'm googling right now. Don't
no.
tell me.
Ooh.
Should we
Okay.
should we
People
pretend
who
that we
just
do?
follow Gary Vayner.
Is
Chuck.
that
Is that a
Oh,
Gary
ding,
V?
ding, ding,
Oh,
ding,
yeah.
ding.
Oh, is that what it is?
So
They do all the same
I
stuff he
love
does.
it.
I thought you meant it was the study of zoos. I thought that's what Vaynerbot was. Is that not?
I thought there was like there's
Terry.
what's the band that has the bears? The followers are called something.
Grateful Dead.
Yes,
Dead, yeah,
yes,
yeah,
the
yeah.
Rainbow
Oh.
Bears.
Okay, so Vaynerbots. I gotcha.
Same. Okay.
All right,
so
Vaynerbots.
Vaynerbots.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So let me just make a big disclaimer because I'm a huge Gary Vaynerchuk fan. Like,
Okay.
I think he is the sales and marketing messiah.
Okay.
And I am not afraid to say that.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah.
However, what really blows my mind is that. So, tell me, what is the word you think of when you think of Gary Vaynerchuk?
Hustle.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Drive, passion. Yeah.
Drive.
All of that. Yep.
Fuck. He says that a lot.
He does.
But
He
that's
does.
not really. No. But actually, what's at the core of Gary Vaynerchuk's philosophy are things like empathy,
Yeah.
patience, caring, engaging,
Yeah.
all that stuff, giving. And people don't get that. They completely
Yeah.
step over it and they run
Ooh,
around
that's
like
true.
crushing everything.
Yes. Yes. That's so true. They run
I
around
right?
crushing everything.
What's that
I love it.
cartoon that the kids? It's like a movie, Wreck-It Ralph.
Wreck-It
It's like
Ralph, yeah.
Wreck-It Ralph.
Wreck-It
You're
Ralph,
running
like,
around just
"No!"
yeah. That's awesome.
So it blows my mind because here's the perfect example of this where we're missing it in the mindset. So Gary Vee had the Agent 2021
Yeah.
in January
Yep.
in Tampa. And at that, Tom Ferry interviewed him. I believe that was who was interviewing him. And like Gary came up with like amazing, just all these great nuggets. And then I saw later that Tom had turned it into a podcast, which was awesome. And in the interview, like Gary's like mic drop moment at the end was his quote, and I'm trying to get it right: empathy, passion. Nope, empathy, patience. These are the killers, the secrets of the killers of the world, and nobody sees it. Nobody sees it. And I was like, oh, that's everything. So I was so excited to go see the podcast. So I'm listening to the podcast, and it's great. And I've got these two icons like Tom and Gary, and hearing their, this is great. And the podcast ends, and Tom didn't even mention that quote.
Oh, really? Missed it.
It was the essence of his whole message, and Tom Ferry missed it.
Yeah.
And I was like, man,
Yeah.
we're all missing it. If he can miss it, no wonder we're all, running around crushing things instead of being patient and being in the chair of the person across from us all the time, and thinking like, as I make this decision, what is the best for their mortgage, not my
That's
mortgage.
good.
Right. Right.
Right?
That's incredible.
So the first real big point I wanted to make is it's a mindset shift. If you start thinking about what is good for the other person, it's going to end up being good for you, but you have to be patient.
Yeah.
It will come around.
Yeah. That's true. That's really
so
true.
good.
Like, nobody wants to be closed all the time.
Right.
I hate
Right.
that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's the worst. That's the worst.
We talk about that a lot here with like as salespeople. And if somebody's giving you the sales pitch, you're like, come on, man. Like, I'm in the game. I know what a sales pitch is.
I know what you're doing. Like, I know what you're doing.
It's
They
so,
call up with the script, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
you poor son of a bitch.
Yeah,
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And I go back and forth between either being really patient, being like, okay, tell me when you get to the next paragraph and my objection. You ready?
I know.
You ready?
Here's my objection.
Yeah.
Get ready. Wow.
Let me ask you this then. So, do you think that's an issue that as agents come in, that like is the essence of the agent fraught from the beginning, like that it's just we're a different person coming into the business, or is it that the leaders are training incorrectly at this point?
That is such a great question. 98% of the people that I've met in this industry are really solid human beings.
Yeah.
Like really good people, really smart people, innovative, adventurous. Like I have so many friends in the industry from all over the country that I adore and admire. So I believe we all come in good. And I believe that we are sort of indoctrinated with this culture of greed, which is, I'm not afraid to say that, this culture of greed where we're taught to pursue the almighty dollar. And it's worse in some organizations than it is in others.
Yeah.
And
So
I leave
agree
it
with
there,
that.
right
That's
there.
so good.
Yeah. I think that's so true. I remember my own just journey with this, and there's not like a person or a thing that I can pinpoint and say, oh, this person told me I needed to be more salesy or anything. But I remember coming into it and listening to all the different trainers and thought leaders and all this stuff, and people in our brokerage that were training, all that. And I thought, and I had a shift in the wrong direction. I was like, okay, I'm going to have to be a little bit more aggressive than what I normally am. Like, I'm going to have to just step outside my comfort zone. And I did that for a little while, and it went okay. But then I had a moment or two where I accidentally kind of just was myself.
Yeah.
And it went way better, and it felt way better. Right. And all of a sudden I realized, okay, I don't have to be some realtor version of myself. Like, I get to just be myself and help people. And long term, you're going to win.
Yeah.
Not only are you going to win financially, but I talk about, we deal in three currencies all the time. One is money, one is time, and one is sort of that emotional capital.
Yes.
And if you operate from a relational perspective, you will not burn out.
Yeah.
That's
you
true.
will be fulfilled.
Yes.
I freaking love my job.
Yeah.
I love my job. And it's because I'm so gratified by the way that I do my business. And, it's possible for anybody. It truly is. You know what is funny? I don't know if you guys have noticed this, that I have noticed a lot of people who come into the industry, of course, we all came from something else.
Yeah.
A lot of the people who come into the industry came from education or like nursing, medical kind of professions. Do you guys notice that?
I haven't. I'll have to think that. I mean,
So a lot of the women that I know, in particular, a lot of teachers, and these are like helping professions. These are people who are intuitively helpers, and they're the first ones to be like, door knock. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Cold call. They're like, this is not me. And you can
Right.
smell it on them.
Yes.
Like, and they come and they're like, hey, how you doing? You're like, you hate yourself right now.
Yeah, right. Yes.
They always say desperation is the worst cologne.
Yeah, that's good.
That's good.
And those are the people who, if they just figured out, they could destroy this industry. They could be like unstoppable.
Yeah.
That's who I want to see sort of take hold of this, because it comes so easily to them.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we've kind of always said that teachers are probably the best realtors ever, especially the guy that's sitting right here compared to his. Katie, I used to be a teacher, so I'm much better realtor than the
So
other.
did I.
See,
So is she.
we are much better
He
teachers.
taught. Yeah, what did you teach,
Yeah,
Todd?
Todd, talk about what you teach.
I taught high school sciences, and I was a very good teacher.
Yeah, we talked
He
about
taught me
nerve
what
juice.
he taught me what zoology means.
He didn't teach you how to pronounce it.
That's right. That's good. Oh, good times. So okay. So you had said you kind of had like the first. It starts with a mindset shift, right? That's
Yeah,
where it
yep,
starts.
yep.
And then did you say there was a couple other things too?
Yeah. So if you want to start to get tactical, and there's sort of three themes that you want to go on. The first one, which I think is the most important, and it's not as tactical as maybe some people would like to think, but it is you have to lead with people. You have to spend your time with people.
Yes.
And when I say that, these are people in your business. These are your family, which is a weird thing to say, but they're the only one, the constant. You might not last in this industry, but if you don't want to, be a statistic,
Yeah.
you want to spend some time with your family. Also, they feed you, they support you, they give you life, they encourage you. You've got to give them back something. It doesn't mean that you never say, listen, you know what, mommy's going to be at this baseball game, but not this one. Like, that's okay. You've
Yeah.
got to find a way to, draw the lines. But you've got to make sure you don't miss that important time with your family, but also people outside of your business. So that means you should be involved in. So I have a whole thing about civic marketing, like not your mother's board membership. If you're going to be on a board, and you should be, it should be something that you can absolutely sink your teeth into, and that you believe in, and that you're ready to give of your time, talent, and treasure. But so spend your time with people. That's the big thing. And then spend your money on anything that gives you more time with your people.
Oh, I like that.
That's a game changer.
Say more things, because I really
that
like
was
that.
really good.
That's
Say
that's
more
what a good
things.
podcast host I am. Ooh, say more things. That's good.
You know what I mean? Like, so that
really
might
is
mean
great.
a really good CRM, or maybe you hire someone to fill in your weaknesses, because guess what? You're not good at everything.
Right.
Yeah.
That's part of our problem. We don't share the pie because we're so greedy. We don't share the pie. We try to do everything. We have this big stack of hats on our head. We actually suck at half of the things we're trying to do, and people know it. And then that we look bad, and we get frustrated, or we frustrate other people, and it's a bump in the road for us. So spend your money on things that give you more time with people.
I love that.
I do too.
So-
That's really good. That's really
Makes
good.
me happy. Everything you're saying makes me happy.
Everything you
right
say
now.
makes us happy. It makes us happy.
Hey, Katie, I just wanted to bring this up. So obviously getting prepped for the interview, we do some basic stuff like Google you. And and I put your name in, and you know how like Google will auto populate things?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So the first one is Katie Clancy.
That didn't happen. It was a lie. It was a lie. Don't believe anything.
We're just gonna read your Google autofill straight to you now. It's like mean tweets. It's like our version of it. That's not nice.
The first one's
what a
good.
great
Like first one's very supportive. It's Katie Clancy Real Estate. So that's boom.
Okay.
You're
That's good,
number
yeah.
one there. That's good. Second one is Katie Clancy Obituaries.
Womp.
That's
Way to
That's a
just
little-
bring it down.
But the
Todd.
third one is Katie Clancy Baby Registry. So we're right back in
Oh,
it.
there you go.
Oh shit.
yeah.
That's not funny.
Yet another
That's-
moment.
She likes that less than the obituary one.
Yeah.
That's scarier
I was
than
trying
the
to
obituary.
think which
so
one.
great.
Was there a question with that, Todd, or did
Nope,
you just
that's
want
all
to?
I had.
Wanted to bring that
Oh,
up.
thanks, Todd. Note to self: I'm gonna Google you now.
That's right. That's right. That's
Fair
good.
play.
Well, this is like
Oh.
this is so good because I feel like this is the. I mean, this is how we run our team. It's how we train people on our team to like run their businesses. Like, and it's just the most fulfilling. Like what you said, it's like you get to love on your people and be with your people and then serve your people when they intersect with the marketplace. And you don't have to be gross,
Right.
You know,
you don't have to be gross about it. You also don't have to like pretend that you don't do real estate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
One of the great things that I took away from Inman, there was actually at least 2 talks about homelessness.
Oh.
And about having a home and what that means. And like even talking about it, like I can feel the emotion from watching it. Like it's not a privilege. You know, it's a right. And the meaning of home and what we do is so important. Even when we're working with investors, they might not be living in this home, but this investment, they scrapped and saved, or they borrowed, or they took a risk to get this money to make this investment, and it means something to them. It's their identity.
Yeah.
And if we can respect that and really honor it, it just the tactics flow from that, like I said, mindset.
yeah, that's amazing. I
By the
love it.
way, you were just at Inman, San Francisco. I
Yeah.
think the last time we were there, they did like a big kind of philanthropic thing the day prior to the conference. I'm assuming they're still doing that. Do you know?
Yeah, I actually unfortunately didn't know about it, but there was a whole homelessness. They fed people for dinner. I think Glide,
cool.
I think was the organization.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of posts about it. It seemed awesome.
Yeah, I like that.
That's
I like that
cool.
They do
Yeah.
that. I like that they work that into the conference.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
That's neat. I mean, I could keep going on this
I
stuff.
know.
We have.
I have
you
2 more
been
points, but
oh, do them. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's
Yes,
do
yes.
it.
Do it.
So the time with people is one thing. The other 2 are, one, you've got to think independently. You cannot. So this is the lemming piece. You cannot just follow the crowd.
Yes.
You cannot
Yeah.
just go with the flow.
Yes.
You've got to pick your head up every once in a while and ask a few questions.
Mm-hmm.
And those questions are, why am I doing this? Like, why am I doing this? I'm here because I actually do freaking like people. I
Yeah.
really do.
Yeah.
And I can like people and make a great living. And that is true.
Yeah.
Why am I here? What am I good at? What am I not good at? Be really honest about that. What's going on in my industry? Attend an event or 2.
Yeah.
Yes, it costs money, but you know what? You are going to come back with so much. So
Right.
go to NAR, go to your local conference, go to Inman, like try to get to one of these events if you can. Even a tiny one on a very small scale. Go and see what's going on beyond your just 2 feet outside of your body.
Yeah.
So think independently, think critically, think about where you fit there.
Yep.
Spend time with people. And the last one is you've just got to be patient. This is where that you cannot be closing people every time you see them. You cannot look at everybody with a little dollar sign on their forehead.
Yep.
Yep.
Yes, you want to build your sphere. Yes, you want to get relationships going, but it's you've got to just be patient. It's got to happen a little bit organically. And if you want to turn something over really fast, I think what you need to do is hook up with someone who's got business, who can give you a referral or say, I don't know, chase this lead down. And you can be like, all right, this person already expressed interest. I will chase it down.
Yeah.
But don't chase down your dentist.
Yeah.
He doesn't
Yeah.
want that.
Right.
Yeah. He's like, oh my God, we're not
Sucky.
accepting new patients. Yeah.
That is so good. And I think like everything you're saying really resonates with us and probably with our audience, because this is the kind of stuff
Yeah.
that we try to
Because
try
most
to pass
people are
on.
good in our industry.
Yeah.
Most people think like this.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. For people that want to know more about you, that want to connect with this message more, want to connect with you, how would you suggest people reach out to you and connect?
Come see me at thecapehouseteam.com.
Perfect.
That's the best place to find me.
Nice. And we will link to it in the show notes as well. Katie Clancy, everybody!
My new best friend.
New best friends!
Yay.
Email info@boomrealestatepodcast.com. Check out the YouTube, and the 30-day jumpstart is there as well. And we will see you next time, maybe with our new best friend, Katie Clancy. We'll see you on the Boom Real Estate Podcast. I really think it's the study of zoos.
Study is
I think she's wrong about that. I think she may be wrong.
Zoology.
Google says she's either pregnant, dead, or a real estate agent. Which is it?